On today's episode, we are exposing an issue that the industry has for some upcoming students, for some upcoming techs and painters coming out of these schools, these trade schools and high school programs. I didn't even realize that this issue existed, and you might not either. But the instructor that I speak with today is going to share with us how, after about 2 years of leaving their program and going into shops, these people and these students are leaving the industry for good. Why is that? Why are we losing these people when we need them so bad? Stay tuned. You're going to want to know so you can make some changes on your side.
Welcome to Body Bangin', your podcast for all things body. Auto body, that is. And now, introducing Body Bangin's host, Mickey Woods of Mickey Woods Marketing. Mickey is a former auto collision center owner and is now a marketing and business development expert to shops across the globe.
Where are you seeing the biggest breakdown right now between students and shops?
The students are interested. You know, we have the ability to train these students in our facility. But they're just not staying in the industry. And when I talk to the students, they're branching off to other fields, electrician, pipe fitters, things of that nature. And when I tell them why, I thought that you were so interested in collision repair.
Yeah.
And they said they are, but the money's just not there. The benefits are just not there, retirement, stuff like that. Is just so much better that they're seeing, their buddies in other fields. They're not really giving up on collision repair. They're just kind of doing it either part-time or on the side. My problem is keeping them. Like, where are we losing these kids?
Yes.
Because definitely they are the future of this industry. And I feel I'm one of the feeders into that. And I'd like now to focus on how do I keep them there?
Absolutely. So I think this is a great thing for the auto body shop managers, owners, even fellow technicians, writers. I mean, for everybody to be aware of, because, we're a family. When you work in a shop, you're part of the family, and you don't want people just coming in and just passing through real quick. The whole goal is George and instructors like George have spent their time grooming these kids, training these kids, I'm sure you pour yourself into them like they're your own. They drive you nuts, but you love them. And then you send them out to a shop where they get hired. They're excited. And then after, George was saying, approximately 2 years on average, the students are leaving. So that's a big problem. And yet, in the collision side of it, I work with shops every day that are complaining about, we don't have technicians. I'm short-staffed and I can't get anybody. I need a painter. I need a tech. I need whatever, a prepper. But yet here we are blowing through people that were initially really interested. So I think it's awesome to be shedding some light on this disconnect. Really, that's what it feels like.
I mean, this industry was so good to me, years ago when I was in it. And like I said, I just hear the student side, and I have reached out to some of the shops in the area, some of the larger shops, and some of them, and I don't know if it's just in the Midwest where we're at, they're switching from commission to hourly, and I don't know if that's the problem, because commission, I know, when I was in the industry, commission was just huge.
Yeah.
That's where you made your money.
Yes.
So I don't know if it's like that across the board, or if it's just in my area, or what the deal is. That's what I'm trying to, I guess, narrow down now.
Yeah. So it's something I think for shop owners that we can be aware of, and not to say that all the fault falls on the shop side. It's a give and take kind of. George and I were talking about that earlier. It's not just one or the other, but, considering the fact that we're talking to mainly body shop managers and owners, okay, well, what can we do then on our side to start retaining these guys and gals that are coming in? And I think pay is really big. Like you just said, they could go be an electrician or a plumber. They're obviously hands-on. Even the dealership story. Tell me the dealership story you were sharing with me a little bit earlier.
Yeah. In our area, we have a lot of dealerships, and, a porter is one of the entry level positions that a lot of these students take in high school. And a lot of our body shops in the area, they start from the bottom, and I totally agree. You start from the bottom, you work your way up. But the pay for a porter at a dealership is paying more than an entry level position at a body shop.
Mm-hmm.
And the students are saying, well, I just have to get in the car and, sit in it through the car wash, dry it off, vacuum it. Doesn't take very much to do it. And I'm getting an extra few bucks an hour.
Right.
I try to explain to them that at the body shop, you're learning more. But to them, they're not seeing that. To them, they're instant gratification. They're seeing the money right now.
Yeah.
Not later on. So that's the hard part, is to get them to buy in, like, okay, you're getting paid a little bit less, but you're actually getting paid more in the long run with the knowledge.
Right. So. Yeah. Well, good luck telling a teenager that. I mean, does anybody have children? Because that's not how it works. I was in my late teens and early 20s once, and I was not thinking that way all the time. Right, George? So I've talked with other instructors that have had similar issues where they have a difficult time. The students have a difficult time going into the shop because the pay is so low. And so I do wholeheartedly think it needs to be a perspective change on the shop side. Yeah, of course we can be teaching these kids, but from the shop side, we need to start looking at these children as an investment. And I say kids because typically, they're coming out of high school. Compared to me, they're children. But really, they're an investment. So when you're investing in something, you're going to spend a little bit more money than on something you're just going to throw away. Well, I think that's a big part of what we're seeing here, just financially on an hourly basis, that they're not getting that extra. So for you, it's a couple bucks an hour. For them, that's a big change, especially for those that are trying to move out on their own. They're trying to now be independent. And you just can't, especially in most states, we've got inflation going on, just the costs of living are higher. So if on the shop side, if we can change the perspective to start investing in these students, and there are a lot of shops that do, so this isn't like a blanket statement that this is everywhere,
They love, the automobile. They love working on them. They love and like I said, majority of them, I would say 90% of them that get out of the industry don't stop working on cars. They're either doing it at home in their garage or doing it part-time at a shop or on the weekends, or they're still doing something. They're just not full-time employees. Right. And
they have that passion.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting. Kind of as we're talking and I'm thinking through, financial would be number one, but then secondarily, if we were having some reviews with them so that they could see okay, so I'm going to start you out here. So maybe if it is lower, okay, I'm going to start you out lower. And in 6 months, 3 months, whatever, we'll do a review. And at that review, based off where you're at, then we can bump you up. So that way they see there's a strategy there for them. Yeah, because otherwise it just kind of feels like I'm going to plunk you out in the pool and there's your $10 an hour. See you when I see you, and we'll revisit this.
And I think when I first started 15 years ago, the body shops were paying more than, than everything around.
Yeah.
And now it's just like they're still paying the same, at least in my area.
Yeah.
And everything else is kind of moving up.
I agree. Isn't that funny? I started in the industry about 15 years ago, and it was a great industry to jump into because you could make some really good money right out of the gate. And now, as we can hear directly from the mouth of the babes.
I remember my dad saying I was 19 years old I was 20 years old and I was already a head painter at a shop.
Wow.
And I had a brand new motorcycle and a brand new truck. And I just remember my dad coming to visit and he's like, "What are you doing?" You can't painting.
Yeah.
It's a great industry.
Yeah, I know. And it is a great industry. So if we can bring that back, because when people are struggling financially, it's really hard to be passionate about much. When you can barely make ends meet, that's a tough one. And when you don't feel like there's a big plan in place for you and you don't have something to achieve, it's just you're just swimming for the sake of swimming. That gets old really quick, especially with kids in this day and age. Like you said, instant gratification. They want it and they want it now, or they've got to have at least little milestones to be looking towards. So I think our takeaway today is going to be, those two main things, financially, it sounds like the shops are doing a great job when they get them in, welcoming them onto the team, bringing them in the fold, doing training on their end, but financially, and then having some type of plan and executing on that, I think would be incredible.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's so awesome to have instructors like you, George, that are out there that have changed up their lives to go and help the youth, because that's our country is what our youth, is going to be what our youth is, so you're pouring into our future. So just from me to you, I appreciate you and the sacrifices you've had to make to go and do that. And I'm thankful in the industry to have instructors out there that really care so much that they're willing to come on a podcast with me and talk to the industry. How do we fix it? I mean, seriously,
it's a huge problem. And this is such a great industry. I'd hate to see it just, die. I've invested so much into it.
Yeah, totally. You're like, don't do this to me.
And I just see it slowly, disintegrating here. These kids.
I know. Well,
you see these body men, they're so old, and you walk into some of these shops and you're like, holy cow, this guy looks like the Walking Dead over here.
I know, we got to have some newbies. Come on. Well, thank you, George, for coming on the show. So excited to have you to shed a little bit of light on this that really isn't getting talked about at this point. I think it's great.
Yeah, hopefully I didn't make any these shop owners mad with those comments. But.
So George's personal cell phone will be in the description if you want to text him. No, I'm kidding. No, so happy to have you on. Thank you for being candid with us. I mean, I think I speak for the industry as a whole. We're all pretty much straight shooters. So we appreciate when people just come and say, hey, I got an issue. Let's talk about it. I mean, seriously, that's what we're all about. And I love it. So thank you for coming on. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of Body Bangin'. See you next time. Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We have some incredible topics and guests coming your way you will not want to miss. If you are watching on YouTube and don't want to miss the latest and greatest, you'll want to hit the bell after subscribing, so you will get a pop-up each time a video podcast goes live. To our devoted fans, would you mind paying it forward and sharing this little gem with someone else you think may benefit from it? Much love from all of us here at Body Bangin', all things auto body.